have no memory of having seen Raggedy Ann and Andy and the Great Santa Claus Caper as a child, but it's definitely the kind of cartoon that would have appealed to me when I was younger, so I decided to check it out and see what it was like, particularly because it's got 7 out of 10 on IMDb, but only from 97 reviews and ratings. In the grand scheme of things, that's a really strong overall rating, but not that many ratings altogether. So it seems popular, but also not. I'd love to know if you've seen it before, if it's something you remember from your childhood, or even if you've seen it in recent years. Having watched it, I can say that as an adult, it didn't really stimulate my mind that much. Maybe that sounds like an obvious thing, but there are a lot of children's-based cartoons that I find to be enthralling. Animation is something that I adore. But this one definitely felt a bit more on the juvenile side, and again, something if I was younger, I would have really enjoyed. We do have a pretty basic narrative setup of a villain causing a problem around Christmas time, and two children, Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, of course, setting about to save the day. I'll read the description from IMDb. This is a one-sentence description that sums it up really well without giving any spoilers. And this says, when inventor/efficiency expert Alexander Graham Wolfe plots to take over Santa's workshop, Comet asks for help from Raggedy Ann, Andy, and their dog Raggedy Arthur. That is Comet, of course, the reindeer. And Alexander Graham Wolfe is planning on covering all of the presents in this glue-type substance called gloopstick. And he's obviously going to destroy all of the presents and ruin Christmas. So Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy take it upon themselves to try and solve this problem, because the gloopstick is going to make the presents never break, but that also means that children are never going to be able to play with these presents, and that's going to cause a lot of problems, because what's the point in making something unbreakable if you can't play with it at all anyway? And this is obviously going to cause a lot of heartache and a lot of distress for children on Christmas morning if they wake up and find their presents covered in gloopstick. So with the help of Comet, they have to try and resolve this. Now it's half an hour, and I feel like the pacing is actually very good. We meet Alexander Graham Wolfe straight away, and it's quite interesting for the antagonist to discuss this with us to begin with, and to discuss his plan, so that we actually know that there's going to be a problem before we even meet the protagonists. And I think that that worked really well. Is a great way of setting up the narrative and saying, here I am, I'm going to be doing a naughty thing and you can't stop me. Hang on, wait a minute, here's Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, maybe they can actually resolve this problem. And I thought it worked really well. It's not common for narratives to do that, but obviously it's not impossible. I have seen it before. So the narrative flowed quite well. I wasn't sure how these two children, ragdolls if you like, would resolve this, or how they would overcome various obstacles. And that means it was kind of unpredictable. So even though it didn't necessarily stimulate my mind as an adult that much, it wasn't as if I could work out straight away how it was going to end. So credit where credit's due, the narrative was pretty engaging in some ways. The animation style is not exactly to my liking, but that's just a personal preference. The animation style was consistent, the colours were consistent. At least I didn't identify anything that seemed off or badly edited or anything. So that's absolutely fine as well. The voice acting is really strong. We have the brilliant Foray as Raggedy Ann, and Daws Butler as Raggedy Andy, and Tremayne as Alexander Graham Wolfe. I also didn't mention this is also written and directed by the fabulous Chuck Jones as well. So the cast and crew with this one, brilliant, really strong. The quality of the animation wasn't quite what I would have expected from that, but at the same time it's not terrible. So I guess it just depends on what your personal preferences are and what you enjoy. Would I watch it again? No, I wouldn't. But I am glad I've seen it. I didn't not enjoy it, but it wasn't as fun as what I'd hoped. I do find it very fascinating that it's got 7 out of 10 on IMDb, but not that many ratings. So I would be curious to know if it's something you've seen before, if you remember it, indeed if you liked it or not. Definitely very, very fascinating. An interesting enough narrative. Not amazing. If it had been a feature length, I might have lost interest, but in half an hour, it's not bad at all and worth a watch if you like Christmas-based animation.